And now, the presentation of our 2026 honorary degree recipient. We are pleased to bestow the university's highest honor upon an outstanding individual who exemplifies the qualities of purpose, innovation, and empowerment. Dr. Calvin Mackie, please come forward. Mentor, inventor, entrepreneur, champion for the boundless potential of young minds. Calvin Mackie has transformed personal conviction into a movement that has opened doors, expanded possibilities, and reimagined what access to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics can look like for generations to come. A native son of New Orleans, he returned home equipped with a doctorate in mechanical engineering and a vision rooted not only in innovation, but in impact. When circumstances disrupted one path, he forged another, not by limitation, but by purpose. In the wake of the challenge, he answered with action, beginning with a simple, powerful idea of inviting children to discover the joy of science. He built what would become a far-reaching initiative. Through the founding of STEM NOLA and later STEM Global Action, Mackie has ignited curiosity and confidence in hundreds of thousands of young people, particularly those too often left at the margins of opportunity. His work extends beyond programs. It is a call to believe in possibility. Across cities and states, in classrooms and communities, he has helped young learners see themselves not just as students of science, but as future engineers, innovators, and leaders. Recognized nationally for his excellence in science communication and mentorship, Mackie continues to bridge knowledge and access, ensuring that discovery is not a privilege for the few, but a pathway open to all. For his unwavering commitment to empowering the next generation, for his leadership in expanding access to STEM education, and for his enduring belief in the brilliance within every child, that I have the honor, Mr. President, of presenting to you Calvin Mackie as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Xavier University of Louisiana, I hereby confer upon Calvin Mackie the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all the honors, rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereunto.
You know, now Dr. Mackie is Dr. Mackie, I guess, I'm not sure. Certainly, Dr. Mackie, you honor us with your accomplishments. We ask you to please come forward and address our graduates.
What's up, classmates? There it is. To Dr. Verrett, members of the Board of Trustees, the faculty, friends, families, and most importantly, my classmates, the graduates, of the class of 2026, thank you for the honor of having me to bring remarks as the commencement speaker. I'm grateful, honored, and humbled by this privilege. I would like to acknowledge my wife of 27 years, Tracy Ransom Mackie, who attended Xavier University, who's a 1993 graduate of the School of Pharmacy, a former Miss Pharmacy, there it is, and my two sons who are home from college, Miles, who's working on his PhD at University of Michigan in robotics, and Mason, who's at Yale as a rising senior in economics and data science. I acknowledge them, President Verrett, because my two sons, for the most of their high school years, attended summer camp here at Xavier in BioStar, MathStar, and ChemStar. So Xavier is deeply embedded in who we are and who we shall be in this world. Thank you to the administrators, the faculty and staff who've done everything possible to make this day possible for the graduates and their families, making sure that the graduates are prepared for the 21st century. You have lived up to the school motto, with God's help, there's nothing to fear. And you've let these students know that everything is possible. So thank you to the faculty, staff, and administration. Give them a hand. Thank you to the mother, the father, the families, the friends, the brothers and sisters, the spouses and significant others and mentors who have supported these graduates through their lives the last couple of years. I know today many prayers was answered. Today we get to see many hopes and dreams coming to fruition. To the people who supported you, let's give them a hand. Now to my classmates, thank you to the graduates because you've done the work. You've stayed up at night. You've taken the tests. You wrote the papers, probably with the help of ChatGPT and Claude and AI, but you did it. You did the work. You finished the race. Job well done. Now let's give all of these graduates a round of applause. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Now look, I'm not crazy and I got great EQ. I realize that I'm the only one that's standing between you and your degrees and your celebration. I know you didn't come here for me. You came here today to get this piece of paper that you worked hard for and you could go out and celebrate with your family. When I was asked to do the graduation by Dr. Verrett, he said, look, let me give you some advice. He said, I've done many graduations. And he said, just practice the 5 B's, Mackie. And I said, Dr. Verrett, what is the 5 B's? He said, be brief, brother, be brief. I said, I got it. I got it. Just give me a couple of minutes to share some truths and wisdom with you that my mother, my father, and my grandmother and others have poured into me that have stood the test of time. As a matter of fact, allow me a moment to reintroduce myself. My name is Calvin Mackie, and I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm from back of town, Girt Town, Zion City. I'm from the lower 9 where we don't mind dying. I'm from that wild magnolia. I thought I told you. I'm from that CP3. You know me. So don't start acting like a pair of brand new shoes in here. You see, graduates, I just want you to know, when Dr. Red asked me to do this graduation, one thing he didn't realize, yeah, I'm a son of New Orleans, but I'm a son of Girt Town. I was born down the street. I used to play in this canal. I used to pass this campus, and only a gracious God will bring me back to put me on this stage to address you. So graduates, the only thing that I'm trying to say, just like many of you, I started from the bottom, and now we're here. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And before this speech is over, you're gonna realize I can go from 0 to 100. And guess what? I never needed an entertainer, a celebrity, or somebody with money to tell me that I had greatness in my DNA. because I had a family, I had a community, I had a church, I had Xavier, I had people, I had teachers every day validating me, letting me know that I got greatness in my DNA. And you've been validated by Xavier. I don't know, look like we're going from Jim Crow to John Crow. Look like the world is changing, but you don't have to bend down to no man, no woman, no institution when you leave here because Xavier has validated you. They validated you. You're going out into a world that's going to underestimate you, going to undermine you, going to question you. And you walk into every room with your chest out, knowing that you have earned your way there. And here's the thing about it. I got 4 degrees, not 2 PhDs. And one thing I realize now, when I get in the rooms, seems like I'm pretty much the only person that have earned my way to be in there. Because that's why we're here. We've put in the work. We've done the things. There's no need to question and have imposter syndrome when we walk out from here, from Xavier today. You know, this thing is crazy. This journey that we're on is one that started a long time ago, and the one that we must continue on. John Lewis told us that the fight is not today. The fight is not just now. The fight is a long one. And we realizing right now in a place called America that we are still fighting. So there's a couple of things that we got to put in our war chest when we go out of here to make sure that we can win this fight, just like our ancestors survived and won this fight. The thing about it is that, you know, our ancestors gave us many lessons, and we cannot lose those lessons. And the first lesson I want to leave you with is never lose hope. See, this thing called hope is real. There was a man that ran for president and used the word hope, and everybody act like hope now is a 4-letter word. Hope is not a 4-letter word. Hope is the only thing that took us from where we were. Hope is the only thing that got us to where we are today. And guess what? Hope is the only thing that will take us to where we need to go. This thing called hope is real. Dr. Martin Luther King said we can have finite disappointment. Yeah, this stuff that they're doing is finite. Yeah, and it's disappointing, but we got to have infinite hope. We cannot lose this thing called hope. I got a friend named Dr. Truth. Dr. Truth said, Brother Mackie, when you lose a friend, you've lost a lot. But he said, when you lose hope, you've lost it. So we got to go out into this world, my classmates, and make sure that everywhere, every room we walk into, we're bringing hope to everybody and letting them know what's possible in this world. This thing called hope is real. Hope is the thing that caused the old lady to sit down and caused the nation to stand up. Hope is the thing that made George Washington Carver do with a peanut 100 years ago that Harvard PhDs still cannot do today. Hope is the thing that made Tuskegee Airmen believe that they could fly airplanes when their own government told them they couldn't. Hope is the thing that turned Detroit red and the Malcolm X. Hope is the thing that turned crackheads into teachers and pimps into preachers. Hope is the thing that took a little black boy in Alabama and made him believe that he could have a dream and change the world. We got to remember that Martin Luther King wasn't assassinated because he had a dream. Martin Luther King was assassinated because he got up every day and tried to make his dream come true. And you got to get up, Xavier, every day and make your dream come true. Hope is the thing that took a 47-year-old man in South Africa and sent him to jail for 27 years, and he came out a world leader. Hope is the thing that sent Mae Jameson to space. Hope is the thing that took Jay-Z from big pimping to a billionaire. Hope is the thing that took Oprah Winfrey from Tennessee State and backwoods of Mississippi to the top of Hollywood. Hope is the thing that gave Norman Francis the strength and intestinal fortitude to serve as president of Xavier University for over 4 decades. Hope is the thing. Hope is the thing that allowed St. Catherine Drexel and the Sisters of the Black and Sacred to create Xavier in 1925 and still creating the minds of the next generation. Hope is the thing that took a black boy with a white mom and a goat-herding daddy and made him believe that he can be president. A whole lot of people said, no, you can't. But a country called America stood up and said, yes, you can. You see? Hope is that little voice in your head that whispers maybe when the whole world is screaming no. And I don't know about you. I don't know where you're from. I don't know your mom and daddy. I don't know what you've been through. I don't know your struggles. But when I came up right down the street, I thought my name was no. Can you go over there? No. Can I do this? No. Can I go to that school? No. Can I go to the mall? No. Can I be on a team? No. You think I can get a degree? No. You think I can become a doctor? Oh, hell no. And to the beautiful women in the audience, I remember it like it was yesterday. I used to ask you all the time, may I have your phone number? No, you used to tell me, no. You see, Dr. Red, back in the day, they didn't want me, but now since I'm hot, they to the young men, I only needed one. I found my Xavier night. She said yes. I'm happy. So, I don't know who's telling you no. But when you leave out here, people are going to tell you no. You're going to look for jobs, people are going to tell you no. You're going to get jobs, people are going to tell you no. I don't know who's telling you no, who's going to tell you no, but today Xavier is telling you yes. Go out and show the world. And never forget our ancestors' wisdom. Never forget their wisdom. See, we educated now. We educated now. We got our degrees, bro. I'm educated. And I think about my grandmother, who was born in 1898 and died in 1988. Never set foot out of the state of Louisiana. She didn't have a degree, but she had wisdom. She said, baby, get on that dirty road and keep walking. You can go around the world. Now we getting degrees and can't find our place in the world. So we can't forget the wisdom that allowed our grandparents to survive everything they survived in Jim Crow. Now since we facing John Crow, we gotta have the wisdom of our grandparents. My grandmother gave me 6 lessons. If you hold on to them, they'll transform your life. As a matter of fact, Dr. Verrett, if we can get everybody to master these 6 lessons, everybody in here will have a PhD. Matter of fact, these are the 6 lessons that we should be teaching in kindergarten, and 1st grade, and 3rd grade, all the way through, so our kids will know who's they for and what they're for. My grandmother used to say things like this: every closed eye ain't sleep. Every goodbye ain't gone. Everything done in the dark will come to light. Misery loves company. Birds of a feather flock together. And if you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. PhD. PhD. The only problem is too many of our young women are laying down with dogs and getting up with more than fleas. Nah. And our young men, instead of calling yourself dog, want you to spell it in reverse. Instead of calling yourself D-O-G, want you to call yourself G-O-D and become God on this earth with a vision and a plan for your family and your community. Remember their wisdom. And the last point that our grandparents and our ancestors taught us, classmates, is never stop serving. We get caught up in this world. We think it's about us, and we think it's about going out, getting money, and getting a big house and living large, when this is really about serving. Who are you going to help? There's 2 types of wealth in this world. First type of wealth is making money. That's the lowest form of wealth. Second form of wealth is making a difference. That's the greatest form of wealth. There are billionaires in the ground right now, and nobody know their name. But there are poor people that help people, and people build statues to them. So in all you getting and all you doing, make sure you service and help somebody, because somebody helped you to get here. And you should honor them with your service. Dr. Akbar, I'll never forget when I was 9 years old. See, my father dropped out of school in the 8th grade to pick cotton. My mother went to a state-approved Negro high school. I grew up in a house with no books. I started Morehouse in remedial reading, developmental math because of my test scores. I know the struggle. When I got to Morehouse, everybody laughed at the way I talked because I was saying things like, I'm bout it, how you do that there, and I'm the man right here. You heard me, little Wody. It's off the heezy for sheezy, up in here, cousin. But I remember when I was 9 years old, my uncle came to visit. He and my dad was in the corner right down the street dealing with their libations. And he brought me a little erector set. And while they sat there drinking their libations, I built a little car. And after I finished building the car, I turned the button on, the car ran across the floor. And my uncle jumped up and said, that boy's gonna be an engineer. I didn't know what it was, had never met one, and couldn't spell it. But he spoke that into me. And Xavier has spoken greatness into you. And we got to make sure that when we go out in the world, we are speaking greatness into every person and every kid that we come in contact with. So everywhere I went from that point on, people said, what you gonna be? I said, my uncle said, I'm gonna be an engineer. When I went to high school, they said, Mackie, what you gonna be? You haven't taken calculus. I said, my uncle said, I'm gonna be an engineer. When I got to Morris with my low SAT scores, and they said, you gotta start off in developmental math. You can't be an engineer. I said, my uncle said, and I stand here before you with a BS in mathematics from Morehouse and a BS, MS, and PhD from Georgia Tech, 3 engineering degrees, because somebody spoke hope into me. And that's what you gotta do for everybody. And that's why 13 years ago we created STEM NOLA. My wife and I took $100,000 of our own dollars and started a program to make sure that every kid in this city, hopefully every kid around this world one day, we have access to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, such that one day Xavier gets so many applications for pharmacy and for health and to be doctors and dentists, such that they can't even fill this auditorium, such that every kid a dream of what is possible. That is our calling. And in closing, I just want you to know, we got to serve other people, and they're going to be sacrifices. They're going to be sacrifices. Never forget when my son graduated, he came off the stage, I kissed him on the head. I said, I love you, son. He said, I love you. I said, I'm proud of you. He said, thank you, Daddy. I said, son, I'm sorry. He said, Daddy, what you sorry about? I said, son, when you was born, I calculated that we had about 960 Saturdays together. And for the last 10 years, a minimum of 1 Saturday every month, we've committed our lives to helping other people, children, 100 Saturdays that we'll never get back, son. He said, Daddy, that's okay, we did it together. I said, son, thank you for understanding, but I just want you to know that I know the price of service. And thank you for walking with me. And to my wife, Tracy, I'll never forget we had the babies. And I used to travel a lot. And this in closing, I'm about to ride out because I got to go. And I know y'all got to go. I'll never forget we was at home one time, and I came off the plane, and Justin, she was like, what you about to do? I said, I'm packing the suitcase because I got to go. She said, look, no, I need you here. I got these 2 boys. I need you to help me raise these 2 boys. I said, look, I got to go. She said, look, these boys are like 9 and 10. It's time for their daddy now. 0 to 9, mama, but I need you here with these boys. I said, okay, look, I got to go. She said, I need you here to help me raise these boys. I said, look, lady, do you like to eat? She said, yeah, I like to eat. I said, look, if my mouth ain't moving, we ain't eating, so I got to go. She said, no, I need you here to help me raise these boys. I said, look, you let my boys know I'm going to get on that plane. And you let them know if something happened on the plane, let them know 2 things. She said, what? Let them know, 1, I was a man, and 2, I got up every day, Father, and try to answer those 2 existential questions of who am I and why am I here? She said, look, only thing I know I need you here. They hijacking airplanes, they taking airplanes out the sky. I said, look, if something happened on the airplane and CNN show up, don't be on the news talking about, oh, I'm quite sure he was up there praying. No, you let them know I was fighting, boom, 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 because that's who I am. You're going to take the plane when I'm on it, bro. It ain't going down like that. Like T.I. say, let them know. I said, no. She said, look, I need you here with me. I said, look at you, all in love. She said, no, fool, I need you here. I said, look, Tracy, if that plane go down, there's only one word I want on my tombstone. She said, Kelvin, don't talk like that. I said, look, if the plane go down, she said, Kelvin, don't talk like that. I said, look, if the plane go down, you're going to be all right. She said, well, how all right am I going to be? I said, double indemnity all right. She said, no, I don't want to talk like that. I said, look, woman, if the plane go down, there's one word I want on my tombstone. She said, Kelvin, don't talk like that. I said, just listen to me one time in my life. She said, I said, if the plane go down, there's only one word I want on my tombstone. She said, all right, fool, what's that word? And I looked in her eyes, and I said, empty. Because, Xavier, I want the world to know I gave it my. And that's all we asking you all to do. To my classmates, live full, serve others, and die empty. Congratulations.
Let me extend our special thanks and congratulations to Dr. Mackie, or should I say the Reverend Mackie, You honor us, you honor us, you honor Xavier, you honor this class by coming here and accepting a degree and addressing our graduates. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's give him a hand, please. So, Jigret, it's yours.
I actually also just want to say thank you to Dr. Mackie, but I think since Dr. Mackie talked about his wife, Tracy, so eloquently, I think, at the end, and also his sons, they are up in the president's suite up there. If you all wouldn't mind standing so the audience can recognize you. Thank you so, so much. Thank you.